Hi, my name is Becca. Welcome back to Raising Them Simply. Here we share all about our homeschool as a family of 6. And today we're going to be chatting just a little bit about geography planning for next year for my will-be 3rd grader and 2nd year preschooler. So if you are new here, I have a almost 3rd grader, a 2nd year preschooler, a toddler, and this little one along for the ride. I'm also a part-time working mom as a nurse. So this channel is all things homeschool and how we make it work for our family. If any of that interests you at all, please hit that subscribe button so you're notified of future videos. But let's jump into it. So like I mentioned, we are planning geography for this upcoming school year, which will be 2026-2027 if you're watching this in the future. We are doing things a little bit differently this year. When we first started homeschooling, when my will-be 3rd grader was in preschool, I did a lot of unit studies and created things, and I loved doing it, but I only had 2 children then. And as the years went on and we added more children to our family, it just became overwhelming, and I just wanted curriculum to tell me exactly what to do. So this is the first year that I'm really going back to what I used to do and putting things together, and I'm really excited about the direction that this geography curriculum that I'm creating is going into, and I wanted to share it with you guys. This is just the beginning stages, but I will do updated videos for you guys in the future as we grab everything. So what we did before to kind of understand the direction that we're taking it in, when my current or almost 3rd grader was in kindergarten, we did Build Your Library Level 0, and then we pulled in a different resource to talk about the United States, because Build Your Library really jumps over about the United States, and I didn't want that. So I used those 2 curriculums and I meshed them together. And now, having several more years under my belt teaching homeschooling and what I liked for those curriculums and what I didn't like, but also just having more confidence in making things more individualized, obviously to my preschooler, and then beefing stuff up for my will-be 3rd grader. A lot of things have changed, and it's really taken on its own life. So what we did so far is I went onto my PDF files and I printed out the library book list from Build Your Library Level 0. All of this is available online. They do have great book recommendations on here. They are separated out by continent and then countries, major countries within those continents that they touch on. And I love the picture book recommendations in here. We are not going to be doing the chapter book recommendations for a couple of reasons. One, a few of the chapter books that we read in here were a total miss when it came to my oldest when we read through them the first time. But 2, my preschooler, though she loves reading and she's really getting into enjoying hearing chapter book read-alouds now, it's just in the beginning stages of that. And so we are going to be focusing on different things. So I love the picture books in here. I printed off the list and I'm just going through my records and I'm highlighting the ones that I want to incorporate for when we get to that point. For spines, we are using a couple different things. One is the Children Just Like Me DK book. I love this book. If you have not used this before or are not aware of it, they just take different kids from different areas around the world and they talk about what foods they eat, what they do for school, how they get to school, like if they have to walk or if they can take cars or buses, different things about their culture, in just a really neat, relatable way to kids. So we are going to be using this. And then I got this book for free, and this is our favorite stories from around the world, and this goes with the Children Just Like Me book. We are going to be focusing on fables, folklore, and fairy tales for this. So I am super, super excited. It's right up my daughter's alley. And these folklore and fairy tales and stuff like that that are in these books, my son will really get a lot out of them too, because we did not read things like this when we did it the first time. There will be other resources that I'll pull in, like for example, when we learn about Europe and we talk about Germany, I will get a Snow White. I'm not going to make my son listen to that book, but I will have him listen to these fables and stuff from this book. I also found another fable book. It's called A Bedtime Full of Stories on Amazon. I will leave all links down below, by the way, but this is different folklore, fairy tale type fable stories from all over the world. It did not seem like when I read online that there was a lot of crossover between that book and that Our Favorite Stories book. So we are going to be using those two together. And then obviously, like I had mentioned about Snow White and stuff, but there are just other things that I realized that my daughter did not understand because we didn't read things like The Tale of Peter Rabbit or Jack and the Beanstalk and things like that. So we will be pulling in things like that as well. That will also be things that my oldest won't listen to because he knows all these stories, but we will be pulling in some of that stuff as well where it makes sense. Another spine that we're doing, sorry, I have my notes here, so I'm looking up and down, but the Nat Geo Wild Animal Atlas. This goes with Build Your Library because they do like an animal science with it. My oldest has a great concept and understanding on those, and that's all stuff he remembers from last time that we went through this. So this will also just be for my preschooler, but it just is a great picture. All Nat Geo books are amazing resources, but these have great pictures of different animals all over the world. And then they're supposed to be doing like little research picture pages and stuff like that with Build Your Library on an animal that they choose in that area of the world. I'm not sure we're going to do all of that because we are doing something different for science that she will be participating in, but I do want her to learn about the different animals and where they live. So we will pull that in, but we're not going to be doing those worksheet pages. We're also going to be using the Children's Illustrated Atlas. I really, really loved that spine as well when we did it with Build Your Library. So that will also be a spine. This book, I was actually gifted to it from my doula, but this is the Usborne Jigsaw Atlas of North America. So when we go over North America, we will do this, but this is a really cool book. I'm not sure if they make it anymore, but these are actual puzzles that pop out from different areas of North America. If I can find some more of these books and used that do not cost a whole lot of money, I will probably do these for the rest of the world because my daughter loves puzzles, so she would love doing this more hands-on thing with that. So how I've been planning things is that on the Build Your Library, they have their schedule set out weekly for what books or what pages, excuse me, you read for each of the books. Like for example, week one, you're focusing on learning about maps and things like that. So you're reading Me on the Map, which is a really amazing picture book that we have done before that just helps kids understand their relation to the world and where they live around them. And then what pages to read for those. There's How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World, another great picture book that we loved when we did it before. I think I'm going to type this out differently than when I have it on here, because we're not going to be using poetry from this, or we're not going to be doing all the science things and everything. So I might just streamline this a little bit more. But then what I did is I just typed up something here where I said for week one, we are going to discuss what a compass is and how that works. We're going to put a compass rose on the wall to teach them about north, south, east, and west. We've got a colored map activity and have the child give directions based off of different locations on the map. So this came from the other resource that I had. I'll pull this out here that I had purchased. It's just a generic map, so I could say point to the school. Okay, give me directions from the school to the farm, and then she can verbalize that to me on there. We also have a Planet Earth coloring page that she can do. I printed off a state map. We're from Minnesota, so we could do that and then mark on there where our town is so that she can get practice with that. We're also going to be creating a flip book, which is really popular with this, and then we're going to create a passport as well. So I just wrote down things that we're going to be doing on here. So I think what I'm going to do is actually type everything up like this so I don't have unnecessary paper from the Build Your Library stuff, because like I said, we're not going to be doing a lot of that. But this is how I set it up for now until I got the physical copies of all the extra books that I was purchasing so I could type it in on here. But that is what I am currently planning with this. And I went through and I did each week and I pulled out different things. Like one of the weeks we're going to be talking about climate. So we have these cutouts of different types of clothes that she will cut out, and I'll say, okay, if you live in a cold climate, you know, dress this paper girl and paper boy, what would you wear for that? If you lived in a desert climate, what would you want to wear for that, and things like that. So some of those more preschool type things, my oldest will not be doing, like I said, but I have a lot more picture, hands-on, preschooly, kindergarten type activities in here that I know my preschooler will really enjoy. The other thing that I really liked the first time we did this that came from the other supplemental curriculum that we purchased was that they created a flag book. So we will be doing the flag book for this as well. So most of the countries that we learn about all have these different blank flags on there. So she will be coloring those the way that their countries are represented, and then we will staple them all together, and then she'll have this really cool book of all the different flags for the countries that she learned about. Now, I talked a lot about what I'm doing for my preschooler, but what are we going to be doing for specifically my will-be third grader? He is going to be doing a lot of different map work and memorization for the different continents and countries that we read about and learn about, on top of the fairy tales and books and such that I had already mentioned. He has a hard time remembering where North America is, South America, Europe, Asia, all of that. But I also want to encourage him to do more map work and globe work. If you are not new here, you would know that I used to have this little tiny mini globe and that worked just fine. But I realized I needed something different and bigger. This is a little obnoxious. However, this globe is amazing. It is heavy duty. It has a heavy base. You can actually see it's written on here where the different continents are, as well as the countries, and it has a lot of the cities on here and states as well on here, which I really appreciate. It is also dry erase. So when we are doing different things and I want to say, okay, we are going to talk about South America today. Okay, I will talk to my third grader and say, take a marker and circle South America. So he will do that to teach that to his younger sister. If we're looking for a different country or stuff like that, because my preschooler is still learning how to read, my third grader will be the one searching and stuff like that on here. My will-be third grader does not like doing map work, coloring type things. He loves art, but once you tell him that he has to do one of those things for school, he loses all interest. So my plan is that where my preschooler is doing a lot of coloring pages and stuff like that, map work on paper, my third grader will primarily be doing stuff like that on here, except for when we do little quizzes, or we call them challenges. We don't do a lot of tests or quizzes and stuff like that in our school, at least up until this point. But my third grader's getting to the point where I can start doing some of that stuff when it comes into our schooling. So there will be times where I will print out blank maps. And I will tell him to show me where a certain continent is, or a certain country, or things like that. That will be the main aspect of his hands-on activities when it comes to geography next year. Now, keep in mind, he is also doing history, and historically, we always do geography within our history stream. Next year, we will be doing middle times with layers of learning. So he will be doing geography with that as well, and map work and globe work on top of that. But the reason why we are really incorporating him into geography with my youngest is because, like I said, he doesn't remember where some of the continents are or things like that. We've had some discussions lately when he was in scouts and stuff, him forgetting what direction north, south, east, and west was, and all of that. So it does not hurt to just pull him in and kind of relearn those things and cycle through it like we do with all of our other subjects in our school. So we are super excited about how we are doing geography next year. It is really coming together a lot nicer than I thought it would, and I'm growing really excited. My preschooler is thrilled that she's going to be doing fairy tales next year. That's all she can talk about. So I'm really excited as we are grabbing all these resources and pulling that together for next year. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really lets me know what kind of videos you like to see here on this channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you are doing to plan for this upcoming school year. Also, let me know if you want a more detailed flip through and review of the different spines that we are doing for this next year, or more information on how we are pulling together for geography. And I can certainly get a video for you guys on that if there's enough interest. Hit that subscribe button. It is a free way for you to be notified of future videos, and it really helps support my channel. And I can't wait to catch you guys next time. Bye.